reason we wanted to do this and to really focus in on coaching is we've been having conversations with Year 11 particularly, you know, it's particularly the students who are your, dare I say it, pivotal students, those on the CD borderline, trying to work out how on earth we could shove them over that CD borderline into C grade for their life chances, etc, etc. And we were having conversations with those students which were lovely. They were delightful. Having those one-to-ones with our kids is always such a pleasure. But actually, were there any tangible outcomes from those conversations? And we found that really there weren't. They were a bit pink and fluffy, and they didn't really have the direction and the outcome that we wanted them to have, or the impact. So we decided we needed to do something about that, and this is where the coaching came in. We were using coaching and mentoring, those two terms, interchangeably. We weren't really sure what we were talking about, if I'm honest. You know, I think everybody expects teachers to know the difference between coaching and mentoring, but in reality we didn't. And I still remember that eureka moment where you did in the coaching training the difference between coaching and mentoring. It was like, oh wow, now I get it. You know, and it was.
Firstly, the context of the fact that we had 11, 12 people initially training, and that was a huge amount of our staff, that was really important to us because we wanted to move towards having a coaching culture that runs throughout the school all the time, and for other staff to take it seriously. I think we felt that we needed to have that big course, and that was quite deliberate, yeah, wasn't it? Yeah. And also, when we first started out, we did run concurrently an assertive mentoring programme. So we had some staff who were looking at using assertive mentoring, and then others looking at coaching, and we quite quickly found that the assertive mentoring involved so much more work for staff because students didn't take ownership of what they were doing. So it all kind of fits with what people have been saying. But to go back to the training, we did do the 3 days, the 12 of us initially, and that was very much about looking at what coaching is, listening skills, summarising, questioning, and using the GROW model. Is that something people are familiar with? And so we kind of got to be really familiar with that over the 3 days. And I think at the end of that, we were all really, really excited and enthused about it, and we could really see the potential for school improvement and for helping our students to really make progress. So. And then they came with me into some of our partner primary schools and did some work with Year 6 students in preparation for transition. And it was really, really positive. It hasn't happened this year, but what we would really like to do is get that as part of our transition offer. That's something that we do with our partner primaries. The Year 6s were identified as students who were maybe a little bit anxious or worried about coming to Cape and about what that might be like. So they really liked having someone who was older that they had talked it through with, and then when they did come up, they had a real nice point of contact and someone that kind of looked out for them. So that definitely has potential for becoming a really great project. We have also we're going through the process of moving to a vertical tutor system, so having tutor groups of Year 7s to 11s mixed together. So we see lots of potential for students coaching each other within that system, but also the role of their form tutor becoming much more the role of a coach as opposed to a tutor, so that there's coaching conversations going on within those tutor sessions.
Is that actually those coaching conversations can take place in 20 minutes, and you can have some really good outcomes at the end of just 20 minutes. So in my hour that I've set aside for coaching, I can see 2 or 3 students, whereas 2.5 years ago I was struggling to find the time to meet with a student because I knew it was going to take up an entire teaching period. So it's really, really helped us brush up on our questioning, thinking about the questions before the student arrives as well, the sorts of things that come out of those first 2 wheels that you can pursue by asking the right questions and listening and just giving them that time. And they do value it. They do value those conversations, as I say, because so many of them have been saying, hang on a minute, I want to be coached now, when's my turn, which is fantastic. So conclusions then, why did we even consider that this would help us? As I said, focused discussions and questions which saved us an awful lot of time, but with better outcomes. The scaffold that we were taught to use over those 3 days was incredibly useful and really helped us and increased our confidence as coaches because we knew what it was we were trying to do. Very, very outcome focused. So in terms of students and staff, looking at outcomes and taking ownership. And also, it's taken a long time to get to this point. It hasn't been a quick fix. In the past, we used, I think it was 21st century legacy, be the best you can be, a coach, trainer, and it was a one-off, fantastic day's training, but nothing else. And actually, the beauty of this has been, as Emily described, that it's just been that slow drip feed, and we've realised that it takes time to embed a coaching culture through a school. If there were a badge, we're not a collector of badges at Cape, but if there were a badge that we could collect to put on our letterhead to say we are a coaching school, we'd want it. That's one that I would really, really want, because that says to everybody, this is what Cape's about. It's about relationships, it's about emotional intelligence, it's about talking, and it's about getting the best out of everybody in that community, not just a number. Students are far more accountable, far more responsible, far more independent. Still not there, it all sounds very ideal. It's not perfect, there's a long way to go, but we're really working on it. And I know even when I leave at the end of this term, and I will sob, that these people have got it all in hand. It will carry on, it won't stop. The challenges that we've had, as I say, the reticence of some students at the beginning because they thought we must be in real trouble, especially if I get the head as a coach, oh my god, I must be really bad, you know, and it was getting over that hurdle that actually there's nothing wrong, we're not trying to fix anything, we're just trying to help. Other than that, have there been any other challenges? Not really, there have just been gains every step of the way. Really positive impact on an already very, very positive school culture.